Nothing in life is easy. And that means if you really want to absorb your protein, you might just have to eat some shellfish. Now, I know for some of you, you're just not going there. Nope, not at all. But for others, could be really excited about it. Here's the thing, shellfish very well could be the future of protein, and I say that from a lot of different angles. Okay, I've done a lot of research looking into the world of shellfish simply because there's always been this part of my mind that has thought it's kind of the underdog. Like no one really talks about it all that much. You see, it's highly sustainable depending who you talk to and depending the source, but most importantly, it's very low in toxins because most shellfish, of course, have an exoskeleton or they have an actual shell, so you're not getting the mercury, you're not getting the byproducts that way. But additionally, you're also getting this highly digestible protein, which we'll talk about in a second. Everything that I ever focus on when it comes down to protein is the actual assimilation rate, like how we use that protein, not just how much protein we get, because heck, if we consume a lot of protein, a lot of it could simply be going to waste. Now we have to look quickly at crustaceans versus mollusks, okay? Crustaceans are gonna be things like crab and things that have like that hard exoskeleton, right? And then we have things like mollusks, okay? Those are things that are in like a clam shell or a mussel shell, things like that. Very, very similar, but at the same time, very different. But they're both falling into the classification, of course, as shellfish. Now let's talk protein for just a second, but before I get there, please make sure you hit that red subscribe button, hit that little bell icon so you can turn on notifications so you know whenever I post new videos surrounding protein, fats, carbs, everything you need to know to be a better you. Okay, so it turns out that shellfish could very well have the highest concentration of amino acids. What does that mean? Well, that means the amino acids that are the building blocks for proteins are highly concentrated. It means that we are getting more amino acids in a bite of shellfish than we would in any other kind of protein. Now, why is that? Well, a lot of it comes down to the fact that there's no connective tissue, okay? So that leaves more room for actually usable protein. But when it comes down to connective tissue, it also makes it so that it's easier to digest. Okay, when you look at like a piece of steak or you look at a piece of chicken, for example, there's always gonna be a little bit of fascia, always gonna be a little bit of connective tissue, no matter what. And believe it or not, a lot of that stuff just gets broken down and sent away as waste. But when you look at shellfish, there's no connective tissue. So everything you're getting is pure, unadulterated protein with it's just easy to digest. Your body can assimilate it. So this could mean that you can potentially get by with getting more protein in with less calories. To give you a simple example, like people spend gobs and gobs of money on whey protein shakes because they're trying to get the most highly concentrated amount of protein without other stuff. Okay, why spend the extra money there when you could just eat a little bit of shellfish and get true bioavailable protein that your body can use? But it's not just the protein here. Let's talk dollars and cents for a second. So when it comes down to actually buying this stuff, you can find that you have a little bit more flexibility with getting shellfish in a farm-raised fashion. Now, I say that with a grain of salt, but the thing is because shellfish are plankton filtering animals, they're essentially just fed by filtering plankton and stuff like that, well, it means that they don't require a bunch of antibiotics, they don't require a bunch of potentially cruddy food, right? Like you look at salmon in a farm-raised fashion, they're gonna feed a bunch of soy, a bunch of crud, which is gonna make the fatty acid profile of the salmon terrible. Well, with scallops and with shrimp and things like that, they're plankton filtering, so it's not as big of a deal. Point is yes, you should still try to go wild caught and try to do that, but you can save some money in going farm raised and it ends up just making it all the better for you. We have to just be careful, make sure that if you do go wild caught, they aren't caught via dredging the ocean floor. That's just not good for anybody. Okay, let's jump over and let's talk minerals for a second, because if you watch my channel, you know that I am Mr. Mineral. Minerals account for just about everything in our body. Okay, magnesium, 300 different enzymatic functions within our body. Anyhow, let's break it down. Okay, shellfish give you zinc. There are very few places that you can truly get bioavailable zinc. Okay, zinc is so critical for thyroid function. If you are on a weight loss journey, you need to be paying attention to your thyroid. Okay, and even if your thyroid is working at a phenomenal level, if you don't have enough zinc, then the cells within your body cannot truly activate the thyroid receptors, which means the thyroid that's floating through your body can't necessarily bind to the cells, giving yourself the active utilization of thyroid. Okay, so zinc is very critical just for healthy metabolism, and then of course if we're not getting it, what's going to happen? Then also zinc is critical when it comes down to assembling proteins. So all the protein that you're spending money on getting, okay, imagine if your body just couldn't assemble it into what it needs to be assembled into. Okay, here's a perfect example. You eat some complete protein, your body breaks it down to amino acids, and then your body takes those amino acids and it constructs something new. Well, guess what? In order to construct something new, it needs zinc. So in order to build muscle, we need that zinc. Well, if we don't have the zinc, then I guess we're wasting a lot of those amino acids. And last but not least, with zinc, you cannot store it. So you need to be getting it from your diet, and you need to be getting it from your diet almost every day. That's why a lot of people end up turning to a zinc supplement, which can work in some cases. However, then you need to be taking copper to balance it out. It ends up turning into a nightmare, and that's again where Shellfish shines, okay? Because you actually get zinc and you get copper. Okay, you're getting 150-ish milligrams of zinc in a simple serving, like 3-ounce serving of shellfish, and then you're getting roughly the same amount of copper. So you're getting the perfect bioavailable balance that you need to support your body's mineral system. Now, I'm not gonna beat this down too much, but I will argue that shellfish is the ultimate thyroid boosting food, okay? Because it's extremely high in iodine, it's extremely high in selenium, and then of course, like we talked about, it's high in zinc, okay? So the iodine's required because the thyroid needs to bind tyrosine to iodine in order to make active thyroid. And then we need selenium to actually convert T4 into available T3 within the body. Point is that we need these minerals, and it has all 3 of them to support the thyroid. So if you're on a weight loss journey, if you're not allergic, you probably should be adding some shellfish to the mix. Now, I will say, for those of you that are interested, I did go ahead and put a link down below. You know I talk about ButcherBox all the time. ButcherBox doesn't just have grass-fed, grass-finished meat. They also have sustainable seafood, and one of the things that they've been offering recently is sustainable scallops. So I want you to check them out down below. There's a special link, so anyone that's watching this video or anyone that subscribes to my channel can get special pricing on really good quality scallops, so you can jump into this whole shellfish craze that's going on right now. But also, you get to save a few bucks. So make sure that you check them out down below in the description, but watch the rest of this video first. This is special just for anyone that watches this video, so you can share it with your friends and family, but try to keep it pretty tight. All right, let's go ahead and let's move on. Okay, now we have to talk phosphorus for 1 second, and then I'll get off the whole mineral thing. Phosphorus is critical for ATP production, and we may think that we're getting enough phosphorus in, but we're not getting as much as we think, okay? Phosphorus is just a baseline requirement for DNA and for energy function, okay? So we need that. Now, one thing that I really want to touch on that's very important, because I know some of you are thinking about it. Your doctor told you you have high cholesterol, so you're afraid to have shrimp, you're afraid to have scallops, you're afraid to have any of these shellfish that might jack up your cholesterol. Well, let me tell you something. It's nothing to be concerned with, at least as far as the research shows. So let's break this down. Okay, so the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition published a really intriguing study. They wanted to dive into this head first. So they took a look at subjects that consumed about 590 milligrams of cholesterol via shrimp, compared to subjects that consumed about 580 to 590 milligrams of cholesterol via eggs. So they're basically like, okay, both of these foods are high in cholesterol. Let's give subjects equal amounts of cholesterol from shrimp versus eggs, and let's see what the heck happens. Well, guess what? They found in the shrimp group, there was a significant increase in LDL, yep, 7.1%, but there was an even larger increase in HDL, 12%. Hey, that's great. So that means that even though cholesterol went up, there was a larger increase in the good HDL than there was the bad LDL, so it actually improved the ratio. Okay, then what happened with eggs? So they found with eggs with the same amount of cholesterol, there was a 10.2% increase in LDL and a 7.1% increase in HDL. So eggs had a higher increase in LDL than they did HDL, which, as far as ratios go, is actually worse than the shrimp, which is wild. Does that mean I don't like eggs? Heavens no, eat your eggs. Okay, I could go on and on and on and on about cholesterol, but I'm not gonna waste your time there. Go ahead and I put some videos down below in the description if you wanna watch my rants on cholesterol so you can truly understand and maybe even help your doctor understand all about cholesterol, because there's a lot more to it than we know. The point is that shrimp has been proven by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition to improve good cholesterol, even though it elevates total levels of cholesterol. And then we can make the argument that once you have more muscle, because you have more bioavailable protein, well, then you actually utilize things better. So then your overall metabolism improves. Then your resting metabolic rate improves. Then your BMI improves. So once all those things improve, then you're in a much better situation. Now, again, I could go on and on, but I wanted to at least share the wealth with you, share the awesome information. Shellfish is a way to go. So don't forget about it when you're looking at the different classifications of protein. We always tend to look at chicken, beef, fish. Why not the underdog? Why not the shellfish? So make sure you at least give yourself a concerted effort to add a little bit of shellfish to the diet. You don't even need much, okay? 3 ounces maybe, 3 ounces with dinner, and then you're gonna get your requirements of zinc, your requirements of copper. You're gonna get what you need to at least support that healthy lifestyle and get a little bit more utilization of protein. Am I saying that you need to only eat shellfish? Heck no, no. Get a diverse profile of meats and get a diverse profile of food in general. But don't forget about the shellfish. And also make sure you're keeping it locked in here on my channel, and make sure that you do check out ButcherBox down below if you at least want to get some good prices on some scallops so you can, I don't know, maybe have a nice date night with your family. So as always, I'll see you soon, and thanks for watching.